To nobody's surprise, the Blackrock and Grayscale Bitcoin ETFs did not get approved today. Doesn't surprise me. What did surprise me is Bitcoin's price pumping up to $42,000 last night, and my account balances reaching new all-time highs for the year in pretty much every single altcoin that I hold, and especially across the course of my cryptocurrency portfolio in terms of what I'm currently trading. At this moment in time, I have taken small amounts of profit on my trades, and I'm going to show you those profits I've taken in today's video, as well as explaining to you what the plan of action from here is. There is a huge risk at this moment in time that Bitcoin's price at any moment can crash down to $39,200 and close the CME gap that has now opened. And it is a tremendously huge CME gap that is opened at this moment in time. So make sure you slap a like on this video. Make sure you join the fastest growing cryptocurrency community on YouTube. We grew more than 100 subscribers yesterday, which is insane. Slap a like, I love to see it, and let's crack on. First things first, what we've got here is the price of Bitcoin, currently trading at $41,631. Earlier today, we were up at $42,200, and then we nuked just a small amount. However, that doesn't concern me at all. What does concern me is the CME gap right now. And the CME gap is here. It's really obvious. This is last week's CME gap. This is this week's CME gap. That is scary because that means a humongous retracement is potentially on the cards here, with Bitcoin's price currently trading on CME Group Exchange at $42,200. If we measure the size of the drop that would happen at that point in time, that is a 6.75% drop that would happen on the price of Bitcoin, and that is definitely not favorable. Is that going to happen though? Well, not at this moment in time, it's not happening. So let's first of all discuss how I'm currently positioned, what I've been doing right now in order to mitigate any losses or potential losses from the profits, and of course the profits that I've already taken. So if you scroll down on BitGet here, I can show you my current open trades. You can see on the Bitcoin trade, it's still $2.38 million. You can see that I've taken $162,000 profit with an unrealized profit of $108,000. That's very, very nice, but at the same time, Dogecoin, you can see I've got a $62,000 position size open here with $2,000 worth of profit. Nothing really significant when you compare it to these trades up here. At the same time, I've got my Ethereum trade open still on the price of Ethereum. That is now $2.5 million in terms of its current sizing. And you can see here, I've taken a slight profit of $83,000 with $57,000 left in the trade. I'd like to point out on both the Ethereum trade and the Bitcoin trade, I have bollocksed up my entry. My entry here is $2,176 on Ethereum, and my entry here is $39,715 on the price of Bitcoin. The CME gap is $500 below this level, and my liquidation point is where the CME gap currently sits, which means I need to be careful right now with how I'm trading. It means I need to exercise some element of risk management here to ensure that I don't lose $109,000 of unrealized profit. So I need to not be sleeping right now. Sleeping could be very, very expensive. In other news, Phantom trade currently $161,000 long, losing $2,900. Harmony trade making $296, currently $45,000 long. Injective losing $6,000. It must have had a 10% drop in price today from my entry point of $18 per coin, currently trading at $16.43. Chainlink, a bit of a bollock up again. This is a $460,000 position size. Entry at 16, current price 15.62. Again, that's nearly a 10% drop off in price. That's pretty significant. And you can see here it's resulting in around a $12,000 loss. That's not good. So some of the trades that I've got open, yes, they're going quite well. Other ones, not quite as well at all. How does that mean for the account balance for the $50,000 to $1 million challenge? Well, it peaked. It made its high watermark at $540,000 today. As it sits right now, I'm not complaining because we've got $457,000 in the account. Not a bad number at all. It's important not to focus on your high watermarks that you set on your accounts when you are trading like I'm trading right now, because if you look at the overall trend is definitely up. Like, without a doubt, we're definitely good at making money at this moment in time. In terms of my trades that I've got open on BYBIT, I haven't molested these trades at all. I've left them exactly where they started. So you can see my entry here is allowing me to sleep with some nice entries. 38,300 on Bitcoin, 2,052 on Ethereum, and then a bunch of other kind of smaller trades here. In terms of how could we be playing the market right now, well, this is where it gets interesting, because this is the price of Bitcoin. You can see that, yeah, we've been rallying up a lot recently, and we've broken again to the upside, with the overall target for this range here being about $47,000. Now, the reason it's $47,000 is if we look at this chart here, which is the Bitcoin liquidation heat map. On the Bitcoin liquidation heat map, if we go over to the 3-day chart here and wait for it to load, you can see that there are a couple of different levels of which we need to be keeping an eye on. First of all, $42,000, a bunch of long positions, rather short positions get liquidated. At $42,000 again, there will be $134 million worth of liquidations. The scary thing here, in fact, is it scary? No, it's not as bad as what it was. You see, there was a bunch of liquidations in this range earlier, but those liquidations have now gone. People must have taken a loss on their positions. So therefore, there isn't as many liquidations in this range, meaning that a drop down is more unlikely than what it was this morning. However, if we go back to the 12-hour chart here and look at the short term, what can we expect? Well, we've got a huge level of liquidations up here of 42,000, which is why I'm still positioned long. I intend on taking around 80% profit when we do get back up to around $42,000. And then at the same time, we have a $41,174, we start having some mass liquidations again from the long positions. So shorts get liquidated up at 42,000, longs get liquidated at 41,000. At 41,000, it's likely again that we then crash down into the lower 40,000 ranges. Don't forget, Bitcoin's price recently has been rallying very significantly to the upside. A pullback does seem likely, although just because it seems likely doesn't mean it's going to happen. If we look here at the 1-hour chart, yeah, we've been rallying significantly to the upside, but there's no reason why this couldn't sustain itself. If we look at the all-time chart for Bitcoin and go over to the daily chart, for example, and show what happens at the start of every single bull run, if it cares to load, which it will do in just a second, you can see here, nice consistent rallying to the upside. But look what happened last time round. We just started rallying. We had a little bit of a drop off on the way. If I delete this white line here, you can see we had a little bit of a drop off here on the way, and then we just kept on rallying, and then another little drop off, and then we just kept rallying. This is what I expect to happen this time round. We might have drops in between, but dips in this market are for buying. And the buy entry for me is between 39,200 and 36,900. 36,900 would be this level down here. Of course, you can't be entering a trade right now at 36,900. What's the point? There is no point. Bitcoin's price isn't going to go there tomorrow. So what's the point in opening a trade right now? And how should you be positioning yourself? And for that, what we need to be doing is looking here at the 15-minute chart when it loads. Give us a second. There we go. So on the 15-minute chart, you can see that Bitcoin is forming kind of... there's a couple of different ways of reading this. First of all, you could read this as a head and shoulders top pattern. I don't like to read it that way because that means we go down. So the key thing for me would be to be respecting support and resistance levels. I would say our key level of support is currently sitting here at $41,200. Why is it that level? Because that is a level of which a bunch of people get liquidated. It is also the bottom of the range right now. At the same time, we need to pop the top and we need to not stop. And that would be a break of this resistance level here at 41,900. If we break 41,900, the odds of us breaking into that $43,000 range increase very significantly. But for me, one of the biggest plays that you could be taking right now is on Ethereum. Ethereum's Bitcoin value throughout the course of today has been dropping down very, very significantly. This is only the 5-minute chart, but if we measure Ethereum versus Bitcoin from bottom to top to bottom right now, you can see that Ethereum in the past 20 or less than 20 hours, I've measured it slightly wrong, has dropped around 3.81% of its value against Bitcoin. Now that is very, very significant, and that presents us with an amazing investment opportunity. Not financial advice, I do want to point out. When you're looking at the Ethereum versus Bitcoin chart right now, you can see that technically we have lost a level of support. And I like the look of that. I like to be seeing this right now because I don't think we've actually lost this level of support, and Ethereum versus Bitcoin is not perfect when it comes to charting it. But what you can say is Ethereum is definitely undervalued against Bitcoin right now, with the November 2023 lows that we set here not being that far away from where we are right now in December. But at the same time, if you look at the daily chart on Ethereum versus Bitcoin, you can see that we've not been at these levels since the middle of the bear market. It's likely that we bounce soon. We are forming a perfect inverse head and shoulders pattern with shoulder 1, head here, and then shoulder 2 here. It is likely that we bounce back to the upside fairly soon. And when we bounce back to the upside fairly soon, that will be when the altcoin market picks up. It's why I am unlikely to take the loss right now on my Chainlink trade because this is Chainlink versus Bitcoin. It's important that you look at your Bitcoin pairings versus your altcoins, because when you're looking at your Bitcoin pairings versus your altcoin, you get an understanding of how that is performing against Bitcoin and whether or not you'd be better off holding Bitcoin right now. So in terms of how I'm intending on trading this, I am going to keep my stop losses tight. I don't want to get wicked out. I don't want to be losing too much money here. And of course, there is a lot of money that I could potentially be losing. So for me, my stop losses on my trades, I'm not going to be placing stop losses because I don't generally place stop losses, but I won't be holding my Bitcoin long above this level here at $41,200 because that would mean we get liquidated, wick down, and then at that point in time, it's likely that we come down and close the CME gap. Even if we bounce back to the upside a little bit more, it's still likely that we then break the CME gap or come down and close the CME gap at some point in the near-term future. To be honest, if I was to guess a day, I'd say Wednesday or Thursday. Right now, this is Ethereum versus US dollar. You can see again, we performed this pattern absolutely perfectly. But again, it's just important to respect those support and resistance levels. Ethereum technically, and this is why I'm still holding my trades, technically did not reach the top of the range. If we were to measuring it like this, you would see that the top of the range is somewhere around $2,400. Right now, we're not near $2,400. If I'm to go over to the daily chart on Ethereum here, then we want to be, there we go, that's the one, and we want to be reaching somewhere around $2,400 like there. So that would be somewhere around this level here. Yeah, that's $2,400 right there. So that's the top of the range. But at that point in time, Ethereum's US dollar value is reaching back into the old levels. And to be honest, that's where I would expect the key level of rejection to be. Then we drop down, then we close the CME gap. The other way of reading this would be, okay, well, we can take our level of resistance from here and say, actually, Ethereum has topped out at this point in time, because if I remove where it says neckline there, you can see that we come touch, touch, touch. But if we break above, then that would be the $2,400 level. And that's what I'm really hoping for right now. It's why I'm still positioned long. However, I do want to point out that positioning yourself long at this point in time in the market with a new position could result in a substantial loss. It's not probably the best way of sizing yourself right now. You're probably better off being sensible about it and plotting the next move rather than taking the next move right now, discovering altcoins, picking which altcoin you think is going to perform best and investing heavily into that. That's probably what I'm going to be doing right now, especially with some of these profits that I've been making. I'm going to put a little bit of dry powder on the sidelines, wait for us to have a minus 5% day, and I'm going to throw in a bunch of money on that minus 5% day. And then when it pumps back, everyone will go, oh my God, you're a genius. And I'm not. I'm literally just doing the opposite of what the market is doing, and therefore I'm making a profit. And on that note, guys, if you want to make a profit too, check out BITGET. You'll find a link for it in today's video description. BITGET, you can use it in the UK. It's the exchange here that I've made about $500,000 on trading over the course of the past 3.5 weeks now. It's literally taken 3.5 weeks to turn 50K in. I mean, it's actually 3.5 weeks from 14K into from 14K to $500,000 in 3.5 weeks. If you want to follow along with all of my trades, I post all of my trades as and when I take them in Crypto Saving Expert Plus's Discord server. You can join that as well. You'll find a link for that in today's video description. It is a paid for service, but that's because there's a bunch more things added on top, as well as a trading indicator coming to that service very, very soon. It's an indicator that we've been testing and backdating for a long time, and it is insanely accurate, especially on the 1 minute chart. I've been trying to set up a bot to do the thing that the indicator does on the 1 minute chart, and it's returned across the course of a 1 year span a 54,000% profit. If only there is a way of doing zero fee trading, we would absolutely clean up with this indicator. It's a really good one. Anyway, on that note, I'm waffling a little bit. Slap a like on today's video. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. Turn on those channel notifications down there, and make sure, what else? Yeah, just have a great day, to be honest. Try not to lose all your money, and keep your stops tight. Make sure you're paying attention. Don't sleep for too many hours, because you never know what's going to happen when you're sleeping. On that note, thank you all for watching. See you in the next video. Subscribe.